It's a pleasure to chance to chat with you. I've loved your work from the wilds and
Oh,
getting to see you
cool.
here in Alien is just a wonderful, great, incredible progression that, as a fan, for me, makes me proud for you.
Oh, thank you. That means so much.
Oh my goodness. I mean, your character Tony in the wild and then your character here, Curly. I mean, like, there's like
Yeah.
little bits and pieces, but obviously
Little bleed over. Yeah.
quite different at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
little waves.
Yeah.
But Alien itself is obviously it's such a huge franchise that we've all kind of grown up on, and these iconic films, and of course now it's transitioned here through the
Mhm.
series. Did coming into this realm kind of intimidate you at all, or were you really
Yeah.
nervous about any aspect?
I think so. I hadn't seen the films before I joined the project. So my way in to the Alien universe was through Noah's scripts, which I feel like is quite a unique way to into the franchise. Obviously, I've gone back since and watched, but I was excited to approach the project, and I think everyone else around me was like, "Whoa, this is big." And then I was like, "Whoa, this is big." I want to do it justice and make sure that the fans are happy and that it's such a beloved IP that gets intimidating, but also making it our own, I think, was really important.
Is that then kind of really what drew you to the project? It was something that had a base,
Yeah.
but also you could also elaborate your own at the same time too.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that, and of course, the creative team. I mean, that's just like you get an email in your inbox about, an alien Earth production led by Noah Hawley, and you definitely open the email, So I think like that is the number one thing. And then, yeah, secondly, definitely just having this be such a grounding base for all these other stories to emerge. Super exciting.
I mean, there's a lot of characters, and it's really heavily
Yeah.
driven by there's the collective, characters, and each character individually with their storylines at the same
Hmm.
time too. What do you think it is about, I guess, the team behind this, the production, and of course, you talked about Noah already, that has
Yeah.
really kind of impressed you with regards to, obviously, like you're talking about the writing, but also, again, like the balance of this collective group of individuals
Yeah.
while keeping each at its core also
Yeah.
at the same time with the storytelling.
Absolutely. I think, and if we're talking about cast in particular, it's such a collaboration, such an ensemble, but then what everyone brought was so unique and so strong and so specific. I think that was the thing that was the most impressive, like the specificity within each of their characters, the little things that they'd fleshed out that makes the ensemble so much richer, rather than all being painted with one big broad brush. It is just sort of like these um individual like pockets of light. It was, yeah, I think just working with people with that kind of experience from across the world was another part of it that I think was so amazing. That collaboration of like we've all got our own backgrounds and cultural differences and things that access to our own creativity, which was, yeah, so unique. It was cool. Yeah.
I mean, each of these characters brings such great depth and
Mm.
compelling storytelling to their characters, but also as a collective, it's like adds to the suspense and the beats of, and
Totally.
these intense emotions that are going on, and the tone of the what's transpiring on screen at the same time too.
Mm.
You all
Mm.
really are exceptionally well balancing all of those and also constructing those together too, because it's not easy with a large group, like an ensemble,
Yeah.
to be able to have all those aspects be as
Yeah.
impeccable as we get to watch with this series.
Exactly. I mean, that's where just like casting, like Kate Rose James is unbelievable, and how she exactly like that the balance that everybody has, how well complemented everyone is. Yeah, it's like a testament to her.
I mean, even, of course, the details of the ship and the beautiful
Mm,
cinematography, that's, all
mm,
the elements of the characters that get constructed.
mm.
Not just, constructed as far as like your portrayal, but constructed as far as the world that we get
Yeah,
escaped into, merged into within this series as
yeah,
well. And there's a lot of darkness, but there's a lot of light within that darkness. And I love that kind of plays into the tones and themes that we see within
does
the
it?
series too.
Absolutely.
When you first were reading the scripts and kind of fleshing out your character, Curly, what stood out to you about her, whether it's a certain trait or maybe a theme or something, maybe
Mm. I
that,
think what stood out for me was if we're talking amongst the hybrids, a lot of the other hybrids have sort of a focus on life before what's on the outside of this new life that they now have, and that wasn't the case for her. She's like, this is my life now. I don't want to leave. I don't want to challenge things. This is something that is holding me, and I'm like steaming ahead with that focus. um so yeah, I think that was a jumping off point for sort of understanding really who she is as like a young kid.
I mean, she's kind of described as having a bit of a chip on her shoulder. How did you kind of formulate your portrayal from script to screen? What did you really build off of for her?
I think if we're talking about like the sort of the child as well, we were all of us hybrids were sort of thinking about where the child comes from, and what that looks like for them. And I think for her, it was that thing of a young kid walking into a room, into a dinner party or something, and sort of observing the adults, seeing how they moved, seeing how they held that glass, wanting to be seen in that same light. So I think that's probably where her chip comes from, thinking, I this is me now. I am now this adult, and I'm gonna have a sip of my drink at dinner. Like that sort of role playing that she's doing, separating herself from those other kids.
I mean, Curly has ambitions within the Lost Boys, and ambition can kind of be a driving force, of course, but it also
Mm,
can be a detriment at the same time too. How does
mm,
that work for her? Is
mm.
it a bit of both? Is it is it learning
I,
to start with the first and then kind of finding out it's a little bit of the second
I
one?
I think it's exactly that. I think she's just clearly looking for something to ground her in this like new reality. And so for her it's intelligence and responsibility, and all these different things, that ambition that you talk about, which like ultimately is like so crushing for her and so hurtful on the other side of that, when she's unable to live up to, yeah, to not even an expectation, because these adults had no real expectations, but almost like her own, which I think is so sad. Yeah.
Does that make her then like a survivor, a fighter, a dreamer? A
Right.
little bit of again, all three of these at the same
I
time.
think that she's a survivor and a fighter for sure. Yeah. I think that she will get her elbows out if necessary. Tried to with Wendy, misguided, giving it back to the adults.
There is a lot of course, physicality, but there's a lot of emotionality as well
Mm,
with this. There's also psychological elements that we get to see
yeah.
amongst everything as well. How did you handle these three really big, important building
Mm,
blocks of this world that we get?
mm. I mean, we had uh so much help and guidance through that as well, because exactly they're the building blocks. We had a movement coordinator that we worked with to help build the physicality. We had stunt training that we did, again, to build kind of more of that fighting sort of kind of soldier element that these synthetics have as well. And then we worked with a child psychologist to sort of help unlock the child in the play, and the vulnerability. And we just every day in pre-production was us cycling through those 3 rounds. So I think just having that experience of bringing it into the physical, accessing the emotional, and then into the psychological every single day, uh, was that grounding for us to all find our characters. Yeah. And a military coordinator we also worked with. Yeah. It was big.
How did you all then kind of, I guess, shake off this really heavy, heavy type of
Mm,
training and
mm.
emotional turmoil that you got were, immersing yourself in
Yeah. Yeah,
continually for
we
these characters.
totally. I think once we'd done all the work, we were sort of, it was quite overwhelming. We were like, oh, how are we going to marry all these pieces together and make it make sense for a grounded character? Like, it's at some point you do all the work and then you just sort of have to like walk through it and walk, and walk away from it and know that it's sort of like it's left its mark on each of us differently. Yeah, once we'd laid it all on and walked away, then we can ask the question of now who are we? We've all got that sort of same base understanding, and then we sort of can walk on our own in our own directions. So yeah, it was fun. I've never trained or never had an experience like that before where you get equipped with so many people and so many experts in order to find something. Yeah, it was pretty special.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine trying to
Mm.
like figure each element out, but then like be so proficient in all these things, but also the weight of like these like heavy themes that
Yeah,
would be like keeping repeat, like cycling.
totally. But also knowing that like having to let go of the responsibility of telling the entire story, it's like that's not like our job is to sort of exist as honestly as we can within these characters, and the rest will do the work. But as you say, like it's with you during all the training. You sort of it's a dance trying to figure out how much to hold on to, how much to let go of. Yeah, it's really fun.
Did you have anything that kind of helped to anchor you in any way then?
This is we would do a lot of painting and we do like sort of art therapy. And we had a whole bunch of words on a page, sort of different adjectives that you might use to describe a person. And at one time we were painting ourselves and then painting on this paper. And uh, there were just different colors that came up for these different words that stuck out for Curly, and ones that were to be erased and put away, like scared was put far away, and ambitious was put at the top, and explorative was at the top, but then timid was somewhere else. Things that she decided that she wanted to access and things that she was leaving in her other life. And I think that was again like super defining for her, knowing that I have the choice to step into a new version of myself. Who do I want to be? Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. That was my time. I'm really loving this series, and I absolutely
Yay.
again love your work and so proud to get to watch you in
Thank
this
you.
really cool, like futuristic, but like
Yeah.
still like super relevant, resonating
Yeah.
series, and being a part of the badass females of sci-fi that kind of carry
I
that
know.
torch. I want to make sure
Yeah.
I give you those props too.
Thank you, Lisa. It's so lovely.